Grammys are a joke. More specifically, the Grammys in 2024 are a joke. People say awards don't matter, but the fact of the matter is they do. If they didn't, sports fans wouldn't use the argument of number of MVPs or number of rings when debating their favorite athletes. If awards didn't matter, artists wouldn't submit their work into the Grammys in the first place. If awards didn't matter, then some of the most prestigious figures in media wouldn't be gathering for the 97th Oscars this March. Awards got Adam Sandler to put on a suit. That's how you know they matter. But you could choose to feel however you want. You know, some people feel that placing value in awards is pointless when art is subjective. A very fair point if you ask me. But the thing is, if people care about something, more specifically if a large group of people care about something, then it matters. That's how life works. And a lot of people care about the Grammys. Not just the little kids that used to play piano and sing in their living room, daydreaming about accepting a Grammy someday. But we care too, you know, us normal, non-musically talented people. Because you could say you don't like my favorite show, movie, or play, but if you even try to tell me that Eternal Sunshine doesn't deserve an Album of the Year nom, we could step outside, buddy. Actors and directors just don't garner fans in the same way that artists do. So of all the EGOT awards, the Grammys have the most people to please, and therefore end up disappointing the most amount of people too. Me being one of them. Alright gang, we're on the official Grammys website. We got the nominations right here. This is my first time like actually looking at all of them and like I was thinking about it, analyzing it, talking about it. Record of the Year. So this is the one that is like based on like how the production of it, I believe. And then Song of the Year is the one with like the song right. We got Now and Then, The Beatles, which is the one that they use like the AI. I hope that one does not win. Texas Hold'em, banger. Espresso 360. Oh my god, there's so many nominees. What the heck? Birds of a Feather, Not Like Us, Good Luck Babe, and Fortnite. I'd say most of these make sense. I really don't like that Now and Then is here, but other than that, we're gonna do our predictions at the end. So we're just gonna keep looking at all the nominees. Category 2, Album of the Year. New Blue Sun, Andre 3000. I haven't listened to that. Cowboy Carter makes sense. Short and Sweet, duh, very popular album this year. Brat, also very popular album this year. Did Jesse, DJ Essie, Volume 4. Jacob Collier. Oh, I've never listened to any Jacob Collier, but I've heard he's like basically Charlie Puth. I don't like Charlie Puth, so Hit Me Hard and Soft, Billie Eilish makes perfect sense. Chapel Roan, The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess also makes a lot of sense. I didn't realize Chapel Roan was in the name of the album. I thought it was just The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess. And the Tortured Poets Department. You know, I understand why it's here. I'm just upset that it is because I think that album is kind of mid, as you guys know. But good for Taylor. You know, I'm always going to be rooting for her. Category 3, Song of the Year. A Bar Song makes sense. That one was charting for so long. Birds of a Feather, banger. Die with a Smile. Hot take, I don't think that's a well-written song. I would almost understand it more if Die with a Smile was Record of the Year. Obviously, Bruno and Lady Gaga sound fantastic on it, but look at these lyrics, bro. I just woke up from a dream where you and I had to say goodbye, bruh. And I don't know what it all means, but since I survived, I realized. Wherever you go, that's where I'll follow. Nobody's promised tomorrow, so I'ma love you every night like it's the last night. Like it's the last night. Repeating that line makes me think that you think it's this like revolutionary shit when it's literally the most basic thing you could possibly say. I'ma love you every night like it's the last night. Then this chorus, if the world was ending, I would want to be next to you. If the party was over and our time on earth was through. I hate that rhyme. I want to be next to you. Our time on earth was through. Who speaks like that, bro? I'd want to hold you just for a while and die with a smile. The truth is, Bruno Mars has never been like a crazy lyricist, but this has to be like his worst work. He never really writes songs that are personal to him. You know, he's just not that kind of artist. But even look at like When I Was Your Man, you know, same bed, but it feels just a little bit bigger now. So much more nuanced than, oh, I just woke up from a dream where you left. No. I do like their singing on it though. They're two fantastic singers. I just don't listen to that song because I think the lyrics are fucking AI generated. Then for other songs of the year, we have Fortnite, Good Luck Babe, Not Like Us, Please Please Please, and Texas Hold'em. Okay. Best New Artist, interesting. Benson Boone, Sabrina Carpenter, Doechii, who I know from the Tyler album. I don't know who that is. Ray sounds familiar. Chapel Roan, Shabuzi, and Teddy Swims. All those make sense, to be honest. Shabuzi is the bar song guy. I actually saw him live at Childish Gambino, which is kind of cool. Best Pop Solo Performance, Bodyguard. That's a good song. I like that one. Espresso, Apple, interesting. Birds of a Feather, and Good Luck Babe. If it's supposed to be based off of like their singing performance, I don't really know if these are the songs I would have picked. Best Pop Duo Group Performance, Gracie Abrams, Us, okay. Levi's Jeans, that was a nice song. The Boy Is Mine. Oh. And Ariana nom. Thank you. I brushed over Album of the Year, but it is an absolute crime. Okay, a crime has been committed on Ariana Grande Butera for not getting nominated for Album of the Year because, look, I understand that Album of the Year leans towards like contemporary pop, right? But you're telling me that you're gonna put Jacob Collier. I haven't listened to that garbage. I'm not gonna And then Over the Tortured Poets Department 2, oh, that's painful, dude. She at least deserves to be nominated. Like, out of all of these, I understand if you don't give it to her, but where's the nom, bro? Where's the fucking nom? And Song of the Year, too. Like, low-key, We Can't Be Friends should be here, but it's whatever. They're just mad that she's popping these days with Wicked and everything, so whatever. Best Pop Vocal Album, Short and Sweet, Hit Me Hard and Soft. Eternal Sunshine, finally. Finally, a nom for the album. Oh my god. Chapel Roan and the Tortured Poets Department. I have this fear that if they decide not to give the Tortured Poets Department Album of the Year, they're gonna give Best Pop Vocal Album to her as like a consolation prize, which would be disappointing because I don't think it deserves it. I would give it to Eternal Sunshine out of all of these if I'm being honest, but I also understand if you give it to Billy. Or Chapel for sure. All right, honestly, we're not gonna go into the other genres because I don't think I'll have anything to say about them. All the EGOT awards more or less follow the same process. You submit the shit into the designated academy. They look at the shit and decide which shit they like. They do preliminary voting for the shit that gets nominated and a final round of votes for the shit that wins. And that's a funny thing, right? Because I feel like a lot of people tend to talk about the Grammys as if they're like this singular entity. Like the Grammys is just some old conservative lady, like someone's Grammy that all the artists present their albums to, and she's just like, rap album of the year is the Macklemore one. When in actuality, it's voted on by a group of 350 professionals known as the Recording Academy. The group is made up of different writers, producers, artists, basically anyone that has any experience in the stuff that's being judged. And I'm not really sure how prestigious being in the Recording Academy actually is. One of my music professors talks about how he used to be in the Recording Academy, and he's no Benny Blanco, but he is an old white guy, so I guess that checks out. But regardless, I'd say the process on how the Grammys are voted on makes perfect sense. The only other way that you could really do it is by leaving it up to a general public vote, like the Kids' Choice Awards. But A, there's already plenty of award shows that do that, and B, there's no prestige to that at all. If it was up to a vote by the masses, Taylor Swift would win every category every year. A lot of people will also say that they just need younger representation within the voting pool, which could help. In spite of the Recording Academy's efforts to diversify themselves, in 2024, there's still only 47% younger than 40. And I'm not saying that's old, okay, it's younger than 50. Right? At least they're not 50. But I don't think it's a hot take to say that a lot of the artists that are nominated for these bigger categories cater their music to people that are younger than 40. So it's just hard for me to imagine them being able to completely grasp it or grasp the weight of it in modern media. And I'm not saying that the solution to that is to just throw a bunch of 18-year-olds into the mix. But when it comes to voting between the likes of Billie Eilish, Ariana Grande, and Taylor Swift, there's a chance that some of these early millennial to Gen X to maybe even baby boomer voters are gonna be a little out of their element, a little out of touch. There's also just so many different factors that come into play when trying to decide on one artist's song or album to rule them all. For example, let's go back to the Macklemore incident of 2014. As much as everyone clowns on it for being one of the biggest Grammy snubs of all time, Macklemore and Ryan Lewis, whoever the fuck, had the most nominations and wins in the rap category that year because their songs just did the biggest numbers. The Grammys don't care about the culture, alright? They're 50% old white guys. Okay, that statistic isn't actually accurate, but it's probably something like that, right? Flowers got Miley Cyrus her first ever Grammy win last year, but I'd bet a lot of people would argue it's not her best song. But how much of these awards is about crediting good music that actually resonates with people in a unique way, and how much of it is just about applauding success? It's literally impossible to draw a line between those two because it's just completely subjective. At the end of the day, the Grammys are definitely trying to become more diverse and inclusive in regards to both the people in the Recording Academy and who gets nominated and wins the awards. But changes like that just don't happen overnight, and whiteness is so deeply embedded in the foundation of the Grammys. You can't just throw a couple people of color on top of that and expect it to go away. And that's really a bummer because now more so than ever we have these diehard fan bases for all these artists that will rage if their stands don't win, but that's life. Shit happens. So yeah, if I'm being honest, I initially planned on making this a super extensive, long video essay type, but to me, the problem with the Grammys is pretty crystal clear. Being regarded as one of the most prestigious music awards, people put them on a pedestal. That's why you never hear anyone complain about snubs at the MTV Music Awards or the BBMAs. If we as a society decided to treat the Grammys as less of a once-in-a-lifetime career-defining award and more of a employee of the month type of thing, it would be much easier on us as an audience. But where's the fun in that? I am I'm gonna keep complaining that Grammy's an idiot that wouldn't know good music if it plugged in her catheter. Because that's what the Grammys feed on, and that's what the culture is all about. It's so much more fun to give a shit about who wins MVP or who takes home Album of the Year, and to be a complete nihilist that doesn't want anything to do with anything. Like, that's boring as fuck. It's the same as watching sports. Oh god, that makes me sound like such a dork. Actually, the Academy Awards are my Super Bowl. But my point is, you celebrate the wins and mourn the losses. If and when Ari wins Best Pop Vocal Album this year, because God knows she deserves it over the tortured my ears for 2 straight hours department, I will be ecstatic. When she inevitably loses to Taylor Swift, because obviously Taylor Swift is gonna win, I will throw a chair at my TV. It's that simple. I guess the only real difference is that sports are based on actual performance, and the Grammys are based off a subjective vote. Alright, now it's time for predictions slash who I think deserves it. We'll do both. For Record of the Year, part of me thinks they're going to give it to Espresso, which is fair because it's the most streamed song of the year. It was really popping for a really long time. And of all these pop songs, I think Espresso had the most reach, the like widest reach where like everyone knew Espresso. If it were my choice, I'd probably give it to Birds of a Feather. I think that song is like so good, especially if it's Record of the Year, not Song of the Year. The production on that is just so tight and it's so layered and there's so much syncopation in it that it's just, honestly, every time I listen to it, I'm like, damn. This is crazy. I would give it to Birds of a Feather. I think they'll give it to either Espresso or Texas Hold'em. Probably Espresso, because I don't see Sabrina winning many other categories. Album of the Year, honestly, after Jay-Z made a whole fuss, I could see them giving it to Cowboy Carter. And I wouldn't even be mad at that, to be honest, because that album's really good. If it were my choice, I would probably give it to... I wish Eternal Sunshine was here so I could give it to that. Low-key, I would probably give it to Cowboy Carter too. I don't know. Like, of these albums, I feel like that one feels the most substantial. Short and Sweet is a great album, and I definitely listen to these songs more than the songs off Cowboy Carter just for my personal taste. I think I was more impressed by Cowboy Carter in general. Brad, as popular as it is, I think it's almost a little too, like, niche. Same with Hit Me Hard and Soft, which is kind of weird because Billie Eilish is, like, one of the most famous artists right now. But you gotta remember, the people voting on these Grammys are, like, old people. So I see them giving it to Cowboy Carter. Or, honestly... like, what is really stopping them from just giving it to Tortured Poets Department? You know, I feel like the biggest mistake that the Grammys made was giving Midnight's Album of the Year last year. As happy as I am for Taylor Swift that she broke that record, and I think it's cool that she's getting her flowers, I do not think that that album deserved it at all. I think that was just a nod to her overall success of that year. If you're gonna give it to her for Midnights, which was mid, then what's stopping you from just giving her Album of the Year every time she drops an album, right? Like, what is the metric that we're using? But yeah, I would probably give it to Cowboy Carter. That album was great, and also, like, the weight of it, you know, the implications that it had. Brat was a moment in a fun way. Cowboy Carter was a moment that, like, made everyone stop and think type shit. You know what I mean? I hate that I just said type shit. Let's move on to Song of the Year. I feel like they're going to give it to Die With a Smile. I really hope they don't. If I had to choose, I would probably hand it to Good Luck Babe. I would say Not Like Us, but I feel like they're not going to do that because it's a diss track and they want to make it seem like they're taking a side. You know, it's kind of political. Best New Artist, I would go Chappell Roan as well because I think Benson Boone, while he had one song that was really popular, I don't think anyone really cares about anything else that he did. Sabrina Carpenter had a huge year, but she also was not new. And I think Chappell Roan took over in such an interesting way where she's filling this hole that has been vacant for so long, you know what I mean? Or forever, essentially. I think it goes to her. Again, these songs are not ones that I particularly think, oh, this was a good singing performance. Maybe Bodyguard. I don't even know. Definitely not Espresso. I could see the argument for Apple, but I don't want to say Birds of a Feather because I gave Birds of a Feather the other award. So I'm gonna go with Good Luck Babe. Maybe, I don't know. I would give it to We Can't Be Friends, actually. That's my answer, so. But if I had to guess, I think they'll probably give it to either Espresso or Bodyguard. Best pop duo group performance, The Boy Is Mine is my jump, but they're definitely giving it to Die With a Smile. And best pop vocal album, I want to believe they'll give it to the Tortured Poets Department, but I would give it to Eternal Sunshine. I really would. I think Eternal Sunshine is more layered than Short and Sweet, is more certain of its identity than Hit Me Hard and Soft, and then it is just better than Tortured Poets Department. Okay, it's not pretentious like Tortured Poets Department. It's consistent. It's not bloated. It has better song structures and melodies. It deserves it. It's not going to get it because the Grammys probably hate Ariana Grande. Let's see how many Grammys Ariana Grande actually has, because I bet it's like 2. Yeah, 18 nominations and 2 wins. What the fuck? Please win Best. That's all I want. I just want her to win Best Pop Vocal Album. What is Rain on Me? Am I a fake fan for not knowing that song? And Best Pop Vocal Album Sweetener. Those are the 2 ones that she... Dude. Fuck. And yeah, I guess that's the Grammys. Grammys, more like scammies. More like... I don't know. I know this was a bit of a weird, ranty type of video, but I just wanted to make content on the Grammys without it being too big of a production. I've only recently started caring about the Grammys, and they've really done nothing but disappoint me, so I expect nothing different this year. But with that said, Okay, with that said, having such low expectations would make a win that much sweeter. All right, please, just give Ari one. Just one. I don't care what it is. Just something. Eternal Sunshine is just too good to go home empty-handed. Hey, yo, let it snow on that bitch for real. Facts. That's so fat. True facts, man. That's slay. What? That's so good. Yeah, nice. That's so good.